I thank the representative of Canada and now give the floor to the representative of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Thank you, Mr. President. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, of course, aligns itself fully and enthusiastically with the statements made on behalf of CARICOM, the non-aligned movement, and the Group of 77 and China, and has very little to add other than to say that we welcome the adoption of this resolution and the formation of the ad hoc working group. Mr. President, you will recall that the participation of CARICOM heads of government at the conference far exceeded the proportional and actual representation of other regions and sub-regions at the highest level. The high level of participation by CARICOM was indicative of the importance with which we view the financial and economic crisis and the role of the United Nations in helping to address the crisis. None of us are members of either the G8 or the G20. And the only way in which we can build upon and complement the ongoing work of the G8 and the G20 is through the United Nations and the mechanism contemplated by this resolution. We do not share the experiences of some developed countries who now see an end or a bottoming out or the beginning of the end of the financial crisis. In many ways, for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the crisis is just beginning in substantive ways. And we think it is critical that we remain engaged in substantive matters on the crisis. And the reason for the intervention, Mr. President, is to state simply that the contours and mandate and scope of the working group are well delineated by the outcome document itself, which was adopted by consensus. And St. Vincent and the Grenadines believes there is no need to unduly delay ourselves orchestrating the dance of procedural angels on the head of a pin. We believe that the substance of the document is very clear, and we have had working groups before, and the urgency of the crisis make it imperative that we get on with the substantive work as soon as possible and not delay ourselves as we are wont to do with procedural niceties. From the perspective of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, a number of aspects of the document are of importance to us in a national context, and we would like to highlight some of them. One would be the elimination of unwarranted procyclical conditionalities, in particular from the IMF, that would affect the flexibility to pursue the countercyclical measures employed in developed countries. And we can find this in paragraphs 17 and 18 of the outcome document. Special consideration for the challenges of middle-income countries and small island developing states and their specific needs, which we can find in paragraph 4 of the document. The need to reconsider and the need to mobilize an adequate share of any additional short and long-term resources to be made available to developing countries, and the scaling up of development finance to developing countries. This is in paragraphs 10, 14, 22, and 31 of the document. The need for development partners to meet their ODA commitments can be found in paragraph 28 of the text. The need for measures to mitigate the effects of the crisis on the indebtedness of developing states and to avoid a new debt crisis can be found in paragraph 33 of the document. The need for equal, consistent, and non-discriminatory treatment of all tax jurisdictions and financial centers, and the strengthening of the role of the UN Committee of Experts on International Cooperation and Tax Matters can be found in paragraphs 38 and 56C of the document. And of course, the ongoing need for further meaningful, far-reaching, and substantive reform to the global financial and economic system and architecture, which of course exists throughout the document, as we're well aware. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Representative of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.